Do you keep stretching and stretching your hip flexors to not feel so tight, but you haven't really noticed much of a difference? In this video, I'll walk you through the classic lunge style hip flexor stretch, and I'll show you 2 common mistakes I often see. And then I'll guide you through a smarter way to do the stretch that really helps you target those tight hip flexors. Come on down to your mat. Now, today I'm going to demonstrate these concepts with the low lunge, so with the back knee down on the floor. If that's not comfortable for you, just know that you can explore all of what I'm about to show you with the back knee lifted in high crescent lunge. So feel free to give that a shot. Even if you need a little support, that would be great. Or you can even do it in Warrior One with the back foot planted at a very slight angle. You can still get into the hip flexor in this position too. So feel free to try one of those versions if you don't want to drop your back knee down to the mat. Okay, so let's start with the common mistakes that I see. Number 1 is really just dumping into the hips and the low back. So we shift forward here and we're just like hanging out without any control and really arching that low back. There's just not a lot of support here at all. Okay, and you might feel a little stretch here, but there are more effective ways of getting into the hip flexor, and honestly, this is just all very passive. You're sinking into your joints, hanging out into your joints. There's no stability involved in this, and stability is a good thing. Okay, so the second mistake that I see quite often in this pose is leaning forward. And what this does is take out the stretch in the hip flexors at all. And again, I see this a lot in Warrior One. Instead of lifting up here through the chest, we're kind of leaning forward, which is fine if your intention is not to stretch the hip flexors. You can see how that just takes out any kind of opening and length there. So you want to sit up nice and tall, and let's go about 90-90 with the legs. So ankle under the knee. So again, we're not forward yet. All right, and then check that you're not on a tightrope, because if you're on a tightrope with the front and the back foot, you're just going to feel a little unstable. Okay, so root through that front foot. And then all we're going to do is lengthen your tailbone down. So it's the opposite of sticking your bottom out. So you can try that with me. You can stick your bottom out behind you and then gently tuck it. Okay, so with that tuck, we're going to keep that tuck the whole time, and then start to shift the hips forward with that tuck. Now you don't have to go super far. If you're tucking strongly, you should feel some glutes, some core, and you shouldn't have to go far to feel a nice opening in this back hip flexor. Okay, we're keeping our chest lifted and away from the front thigh. We're breathing, and then you can add the arms reaching up. Good. Now in yoga, we call this pose Anjaneyasana, and usually it has a nice back bend added into this, and feel free to add this lovely back bend as long as we're not just sinking into it and hanging out in the back. So if you have that nice controlled movement of the pelvis, posterior tuck is what we call it, a posterior tilt, then you're very nicely supported down here, and then you can take your healthy back bend. Okay, so this is the first part. Breathing in and out of your nose. And then to add on a little extra fun, we're going into a side bend. So you can drop your right arm down by your side, and if you need a little stability, put a block under that hand. Reach up as tall as you can. Remember, we're still in that tuck. And then we side bend over to the right. Good, and you might feel the sensation shift a little bit. Breathe through whatever you're noticing. Again, we're not leaning forward, just another friendly reminder. Take one more breath in and a slow breath out. And then to come out of this, we'll reach both arms up, one last little back bend, hands down to frame your foot. Step back, woo, and give yourself a little rest here if you need to give that muscle a little love, a little massage, you can. It can feel nice to bring your knees up into your chest after something like that. It's just a nice counter movement. Make sure you do the other side. I'm not going to guide you through the other side, but don't leave yourself lopsided, please. Now that is my favorite hip flexor stretch by far. But that said, if you keep trying this and you're doing the tuck and you stretch and you're still not feeling anything, you're not feeling a difference, then it's probably time to try a different approach. A lot of us have been taught to just push deeper into stretches when something feels tight or stiff. But in my experience as a yoga therapist, that isn't always the best approach for lasting change. I want you to consider that what your hips might really need is not just more stretching, but more strength and stability in targeted areas. I actually have 2 videos here that I think would be really beneficial if you think that might be you. First, we have strengthen your hip flexors, because a lot of times our hip flexors, if they're feeling tight, they're also weak. So check that out. It's very short and simple yoga techniques to strengthen your hip flexors. And this video, to strengthen the muscles around your hips, your glutes, because sometimes when your glutes are weak, the hip flexors compensate, leading to tightness and strain. So a couple of different things to try, a couple of different approaches. Give those a shot. Let me know how you feel, but maybe that stretch did it on its own. I hope so. I hope it made you feel wonderful, and let me know down in the comments. Have a beautiful day.